Beyond the Veil, Navigating the Great Awakening, a special series on Survivor Angels.
It's time for Survivor Angels, an approach to strengthen trauma survivors. Here, you can escape what draws negativity and engage your positive abilities and the gifts that you've always had. Let's activate your angels. And to help you on that journey, here's Chaplain Jodi.
Well, Jen, last month, May, we came to the conclusion that May would need a lot of clarity, that it could get a bit rocky. And I can personally attest that this last week of May has been like I am going through a gravel field. And I really had to call in my angels and grab hold of myself and get myself settled down because, as you said, things are going to come at you unexpected. They're not going to be pleasant.
Right.
And you were so right.
Yeah. Same with me. It was like, oh my gosh, where's this coming from? Mine was more raw emotion. I was feeling like, Memorial Day. I was just in tears in the morning. I could just feel that energy and just other conflicts and feeling other people's everything was heightened for me for some reason.
Yeah.
And I just had to step back, ground, remember my ABCs of letting energy go, recalling my energy, being very mindful. Whereas this upcoming month, okay, so I think we're getting over the crest of the mountain, or we can take a little breather. So this month will definitely be a lot more easy. We're almost at the halfway point of how things are going to go for the rest of the year. So this is kind of plateau month for us.
Mm-hmm. In fact, when I was doing my research as far as, astrologically, on June 9th, Jupiter transfers to Cancer. That's all about healing ancestral wounds. Oh my gosh, that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people harbor that really deep.
Yeah, and I think this is all part of the healing, right? So we went through the tough part, and now we're at the plateau before we go on another dip. So this is kind of like we're taking our breath. So this month, what I'm hearing and anticipating are people that we kind of separated from, people that we had an argument with. We may kumbaya a little bit. We may have a collaboration. We may come together in the beginning of the month. Towards the middle of the month, you're going to realize why you separated and whether or not, if it's still a good fit. Do we need to learn a lesson from this? Are we growing, or are we deciding that, you know what, I moved you out of my circle for a reason. So now I'm going to learn the lesson and move. So we have to be very careful and mindful of the people who are going to come in, because we're going to get hit with opportunity. We're going to get hit with business decisions. We're going to get hit with friendships in the beginning of the month. Towards the middle of the month is going to be the deciding factor. So we need to be a lot more mindful about how do we take this on? How are we speaking to each other? Are we seeing eye to eye? Is there a compromise, or is there one way or the highway? So that's what's going to happen early to mid-month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because astrologically, again, June 15th to the 19th, that's that tension that you talk about. That's going to be big, and it's going to be between expansion and restriction, duality and reality. You're going to have to strike a balance there with everything. And then, of course, in the middle of that 15 to 19 is the 17th, and that's when Mars enters Virgo. And that's about meticulous planning and organization. Just like you said, that's how the angels phrase it, is meticulous planning and organization. So in this tension, angels are going to be telling you, okay, Think straight, think clear. Again, call in Zadkiel. He's going to help you get that clarity and help you get things organized because you're still going to hit a few rocky places.
Yeah, I think that's really, really smart. And the angels are definitely calling it, as to what I'm hearing and seeing, is that yes, there's a shift. Yes, there's a meeting of the minds, but yes, there is an opportunity for you to still make good decisions.
Right?
But you have to, like you said, plan, organize, have everything in an order that makes sense. If it's not making sense, then you need to step back on that and really kind of, where do I want to take this? Where are we going with this thought and idea, and how am I going to execute it? So I would definitely, if this is the month that you want to start a project, if this is the month where you want to start a business venture, open up a new business or something, yes, 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 it is the green light for doing that. Or individual growth, yes, but
Yes.
just realize, like, the midpoint, like you said, the midpoint to the 20s, just know that there's a tightening up of the ship a little bit. There's things that you may need to do to get that progression going in the direction that you want.
Right. Um, I find it interesting that it's June. I mean, I'm not surprised. Just find it interesting that this is all coming up in the month of June. It's sort of the first month that everybody across the United States and in some sections of the world, this applies too, is we can finally get outside from our winter and whatever kind of spring that we might have had, and we can actually let Mother Nature take hold of us.
Yeah,
So we can get some good grounding in, we can get some good healing in, and it's like it's time to get out there and start hugging trees right now. Go find one you can sit down, put your back up next to with a good book, or just people watch, have a picnic. I Doesn't matter what it is, or just sit there, sit with the angels, sit
right.
with whoever comes to you, your spirit guide. But it's it's divine timing. For me, it's divine timing.
Yeah, I feel like everything happens when it's supposed to. There are no accidents. There are no, um, bad reasons why things don't happen. Everything happens when it's supposed to. And we're the ones. And so I look at it as, if we're looking at battery cells, we're a big battery cell. We have and harness our own energy. We give energy. And so I look at, okay, we've been in the rain, we've been in the clouds. The beginning of 2025, which is a 9 year, is going to be tough. It's learning lessons, it's getting over the hump. It's working hard to improve ourselves, to shed our skins and take off. Well, we've been in the little chrysalis up for 6 months, and now it's June. And June is definitely the time where we're shedding our shell and spreading our wings and becoming who we need to be for this year. And so this is like, we're flapping our wings, we're getting the sun. This is, like I said, the plateau. We are on the leaf, getting ready to go fly, which is going to take off in July. But this is um, the beginning of, are we going to learn the lesson? Are we going to repeat the lesson? What projects are going to, have us move forward? Where are we going to go with this? We're at the helm of the reins right now. So we have to really, like you said, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to take off. This is how I'm going to manifest. This is how it's going to be completed, and be mindful about that. So this is a very fundamental month for us.
Mhm. Another piece that the angels gave me is they said the number 6 is going to be a very important number this month, um, because that's the one that is going to help us with the harmony, the responsibility, and the nurturing that is going to happen or that we need to make happen, whatever the situation might be, which is what you were alluding to, too.
Yeah.
It's number 6.
definitely towards the end of the month, I'm feeling that there will be a tendency to have us take care of everybody else, have us, kind of, well, they didn't mean that, and, accept responsibilities for people's bad behavior, be nurturing, be a lot of that. And you need to like refrain and stop that. Um, I'm feeling like we can take on way too much at the end of the month, and that you have to have your priorities set. You have to fill your own cup. You have to like step
Okay.
away from that kind of behavior so that people can continue to grow. But females especially, we love mommying, we have that nurturing, we have all that. But we need to be very mindful to do it to ourselves and not allow others to let us take care of them. Now, I'm not saying don't take care of people. Love people, right? Sometimes. But it's the behavioral aspects that we have to really be mindful. This is all part of the contract. This is a part of our growth. This is what we need to start doing, stop doing, and be mindful about it. Otherwise, we're not allowing people to learn the lessons they need to learn because we're stuck in that cyclic um, cycle. And
Hmm.
so I I can see great adventures, a little bit of troubleshooting like mid-month, and then at the end we go back to our, are you going to still be mommy? Are you going to hover over people? Are you going to do things for people? Are you going to over help or bend over backwards? Stop. Stop. Let people learn their lessons. Stop managing everybody's life. Stop giving advice. Like, let people figure their stuff out, right? And so
Go ahead.
I'm getting a lot of that. Just be mindful that we have a journey, worry about our own journey, let people worry about their journeys towards the end of the month, and let's see what July brings.
Right. And as you're saying that, the angels are telling me summer solstice, June 21st, that's the turning point day, is summer solstice, because that is when, as you just said, we need to turn within to our light within. And that's going to happen on that day, or we should have it happen on that day at least, because that is, as I call it, the portal of becoming, which
Oh,
is basically what the awakening is all about. It's that we're becoming who we originally were. We're remembering who we originally were. And so June 21st is going to be like turn a corner, turn a big corner on this one. And so don't be afraid.
right.
It's okay to do this because you are going to where you're supposed to be consciously. And you will find so many burdens lifted as you start making that move that you'll be surprised. And that'll be part of your motivation to then keep going because as you take another step in that direction and you remember another piece and another piece, you will become 10, 20, 30 pounds lighter in your thinking. Basically, that's the way I look at it.
Now, I have a question. What was the summer solstice? What was the importance of celebrating that in history? Do you know?
Oh, I want to say that it's the it has to do with the blossoming.
Okay.
Spring is the wake up from the winter because the winter is rest, and so spring is then coming out of that rest, and then summer is the blossoming. It's the becoming. That is what it is, and people always viewed that in a conscious way, besides a physical way with all the flowers and shrubs and trees and all of Mother Nature's little children. Um, so the meaning behind it yeah, it took me a while to put this all together. So my mind works a little slower because I'm a little older. Um, so the meaning behind it is okay, you've had this time to rest, you've had this sort of a ramp up. It's like now you know that this is the time for action. whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally. It's get the cobwebs all dusted off and move yourself forward. So there were farmers that needed to be in that mindset. There were artisans that needed to be in that mindset, especially if they needed things from nature because nature was asleep, of course, during the winter. And so even people back in the 15th century, maybe probably even 14th century and beyond that, if they needed the plants to for food, for baking, for cooking that they ordinarily couldn't do, that they needed to then get ready and preserve for the next winter. That's why it's about this turning the corner, moving forward, because you've got this much time, and then you're going to start the ramp going down in fall to go into your rest again for winter.
That makes perfect sense. And based on what we're feeling, the getting out there, jump starting and moving, getting things in motion totally makes sense then. Totally makes sense. But you hit on something that I would love to discuss is what we forgot, what our ancestors used to do and we don't do anymore. What has gone into slumber that needs to be awakened within us? What are our powers that we have that a lot of people are now starting to tap into? Um, it's amazing how much we've fallen asleep. And it just feels like now is the time that, like summer solstice, people are waking up. It's the awakening of the soul and our gifts and going back to a communal type of remembering, recognizing, using our power, and um, I think that's super important that people need to start tapping into that. I mean, you can call it your
Yes.
gut, you can call it intuition, you can call it whatever, but I think we really limit ourselves um, in our own personal powers and gifts that we've allowed other people to take care of, you know?
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
I think that's what's so fascinating about, what we're going to be doing in November, um, and just tapping in, hearing other people's
Yes.
story of how they have opened up, how they've awakened, how they um, are utilizing the gifts that have been dormant that we now
Right.
need to really shake up and work with again.
Right. Yeah, because and I like what you just said too, is it's not just about us, it's communal, it's collective. And there's a reason for that because this awakening is going to take us to a point in our lives that we yearn for, and yet at the same time, because it's unknown, um, people have a tendency to be a little afraid of it, and so they hold themselves back. But I personally will tell whoever is watching and listening to this, don't, because it is where we need to go, and it is going to be for the collective's best, and it actually is going to be a really good thing.
Right.
And of course you did a great segue into our November 8th event, um, which for those of you that haven't heard, because of this podcast that Jen and I decided we needed to do, we're going to hold an event in Minneapolis. It's actually White Bear Lake. It's a suburb of Minneapolis, beautiful suburb. And it's called the same as this podcast, Beyond the Veil, Navigating the Great Awakening. We're bringing in some incredible speakers for it because they are going to help guide you and help you to recognize where you're maybe at right now in navigating this awakening and the direction that you're possibly going. So
Right.
we'll have Dustin Perry there, who you probably know from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International. One of the most beautiful souls that I know. He is just a great human being all the way around. And so he's the one that's going to get you motivated. He's probably one of the best motivational speakers I have ever heard. And he will do that in terms of the awakening. And then we'll have Mike Ricksecker on hand. And he is, I consider to be the ultimate guru on time, which is not how we know it to be at
Right.
all. It's not. And he can explain it so beautifully. And he has done years and years of research and talked to so many experts. And that's why I call him the guru of this. So he will help tie together this, in air quotes, time piece
Right.
as far as the awakening. Then many of you know Dave Schrader, who is from the Minneapolis area and a very dear friend. Dave is going to talk about how it's the paranormal that helps us to understand the normal.
Mm.
And I just find that to be a fascinating topic. Usually we say it's the normal that helps us understand the paranormal. Well, no, it's not. You gotta flip that. And then Jen and I, we will be there. We'll be doing a thing like this, and who knows what else. And then finally, Rob Dorgan. Rob is out of Ohio. For those of you that heard the podcast that I did with him a couple of months back, he is an astrologer and he is an experienced astrologer. And he talks awakening through all of his astrology pieces. And he will be there and he will also not only speaking, but he can do your birth charts if you would like him to do those as well. And then we're going to have vendors kick off to the holiday season. So you'll have lots of things with that. What did I miss, Jen?
Oh gosh, I think you got it all, and I think the people who are attending and are going to be at this event all tie in so beautifully together because let's face it, we are all connected within the universe. We're all connected psychically, emotionally, physically, space and time, and through excuse me, through all our experiences. And I think with each one's little nugget, you can actually like be a part of the awakening. You can actually see it and have it, you know, open up something in your own self to say, yes, collectively, I'm with you. I understand this. I'm feeling this. Excuse me. But I think it's just an amazing group of people. Um, and not to say that we all believe the same thing,
No.
but we all are a part of this and how beautifully it fits when you actually hear what they have to say and they're part of the universe uh,
Mhm.
about understanding us better, understanding our life and our place in it, place and time, and you know what we have to offer and what we get from it. I'm excited about this. This is going to be amazing, and I think more and more people are questioning their place in it. What is my purpose?
Right.
I don't think there's one person that I've ever met that hasn't asked that question. What is my purpose? Where am I going? You know, I think this will unlock and help people open and navigate, right? Uh,
Right.
their purpose and their place and their
Mhm.
gift and the awakening of who they really are, who they're meant to be, where they're going, what's coming
Mhm.
up. Super important.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what you've ever done or said. It's like when you walk through those doors that day, we are all in the same place, in the same time, in the same mindset of a collective coming together to share our thoughts and our ideas and help each other to move forward in the awakening. It really is as simple as that. And Jen and I know, are hoping that I'm gonna cry. I hate being an empath
Oh,
sometimes.
it's the calling. It's the calling, and your soul is realizing and feeling that, and there's absolutely nothing because that's what is called a true connection.
That is true. And so we hope that when you come to this, and it's Jen's and my hope that you turn that corner. We talk about turning the corner here in June, but that's going to be another corner turning piece as well. And that as you turn that corner, that light is going to shine brighter for you. And so if you want to know how to get tickets and everything, I'm not going to tell you right here, but look in the description here of the podcast, and the link will be in there for, more information about it and how to get tickets. So any final thoughts on June, Jen?
June 24th. It is a special alignment to where like Pluto and Cancer or Virgo and, they're not fighting. They're actually aligned. They call this the luckiest day of the year. So
June 24th
has only aligned since 2002. So it's a special day. If you're going to buy that lottery ticket, you're going to do something, you're going to sign that contract, do it on that day. That is the one alignment where the universe is all working together. Say that prayer, do that exercise, whatever it is, that special, do it on that day, the 24th.
All right. There you have it, everybody.
A Kazemi.
June said it. June 24th is it. June is ignition.
Yes.
Things are going to ignite in June, not in a bad way. Doesn't mean it's going to be a completely non-bumpy month, but you're going to start pulling everything together.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
yeah. So we will see you all then in July. Jen and I will be back the first Sunday in July. We'll drop this. In the meantime, everybody have a great June.
Bye, guys.
Thanks again for joining Chaplain Jodi on Survivor Angels. For more information, go to chaplainjodi.me. That's chaplainjodi.me. And on Facebook at Survivor Angels-Chaplain Jodi. This is Dave Schrader. Until next time, sending you off to activate your angels.